Good morning. It is Saturday, December 28th, and you are watching You Don't Watch Sports right here on the Feo Grande YouTube network. I am Bill Smith, and I am joined as always by the man, the myth, the legend, Feo Grande himself, Omari Ellis. Omari, how was your sports week, sir?
You know what? My sports week was pretty good. I had a good time. You know, it's Christmas, holiday season. Tis the season for sports.
Absolutely. We got a ton of sports to talk about this week, but we're just going to cover three topics here on You Don't Watch Sports, just to sprinkle a little bit of sports information into your casual conversation, as we are the guiding light through the sea that is sports talk. Topic number one, Omari. The Big Daddy is still going, so let's do NFL as topic number one.
NFL, we are getting late in the season, and folks is getting eliminated and clinching their spots for the playoffs. Speaking of that good sports week, you know, when you root for a team like the Panthers, you got to celebrate the wins you do get. And the Panthers managed to beat the Cardinals last week and eliminate them from the playoffs. They're playing spoiler now. Meanwhile, the Dolphins eliminated the Niners, so they're out of here. The Cowboys won, but they're eliminated mathematically because everybody else won that they needed to lose, so the Cowboys are out. The Saints are out, eliminated by the Packers, who clinched the playoff berth in the process. So three teams from the AFC or NFC North make it to the playoffs. Lions, Vikings, Packers. Unfortunate what happened to the Bears. Anyway, Ravens, speaking of going strong near the end of the season, the Ravens are going strong. They clinched the AFC North, beating the Steelers for the first time in a long time. They were 1-9 going into last week's game with the Steelers. They were 1-9 against the Steelers in their last 10 matchups going into that. But they managed to do that and clinch the AFC North. That's the Chiefs. The Chiefs, who Mahomes, by the way, perfectly fine. Who would have guessed? Mahomes was perfectly fine. Chiefs are 15-1. Clinched the first seed as of Christmas by beating the Steelers. They clinched the number one seed in the AFC at 15-1. They're going to the playoffs. We meanwhile also had what I like to call the toilet bowl, you know, a game between two of the worst teams in the league. The Raiders versus Jaguars. Raiders won that, and in doing so, dropped all the way from number one pick in the draft to sixth.
Wow.
So Giants, if the Giants lose out, they will be your number one overall pick, or whoever has their pick if they traded it.
Right.
So that's that. Meanwhile, so yeah, getting into that, we're getting closer to the playoffs. So the wild card for the AFC is looking like it's Steelers as the main wild card. Chargers got a 93% chance to be the other wild card, or one of the other two wild cards, and recently they went up to three wild cards, if you didn't know, for the AFC and NFC. Broncos sitting at 75% chance to be that third team in the wild card. However, nipping at their heels with very low chances, but math, you know how playoff math can happen. Colts have a 20% chance. Dolphins still not dead at 8% chance. And more still not dead, and they just need the miracle of miracles to happen. Joe Burrow and the Bengals still hanging on by like 4% odds to make the playoffs as a wild card team. Meanwhile, the NFC is a lot less decided because a lot of the divisions still need to be decided. NFC East, Eagles and the Commanders. The Eagles, if they win this week, they clinch and they're good, or they win either game the next 2 weeks. And I believe one of them is against the Cowboys, who we just mentioned, not the best team right now.
Right.
They will clinch the NFC East. If the Commanders win out and Philly loses out, the Commanders will clinch that division, and the other one will probably be the wild card there. NFC North, they got three teams that are making the playoffs, but they haven't all been decided who's going where. It's between the Lions and Vikings. If the Lions win out, despite their 20 injured players plus, if they win out, they clinch the NFC North, but if the Vikings win out, they do it. However, they play each other in Week 18, and that game will not only be for the NFC North, it'll be for the number one seed in the NFC altogether. That's right, Sam Darnold. Like, while Rodgers has proven me right about when you're a Jet all the way, Sam Darnold is like, no, you're not. Look at me. So there you go there. Now, could be the whole Justin Jefferson thing, but I'll give Sam Darnold his flowers. NFC West, the Rams need to win out, and they clinch that. But if the Seahawks win out, they can take that, and they also play each other in Week 18. So NFC, as usual, very much parity and trying to struggle. AFC, as usual, pretty much decided Week 1. Chiefs is winning this. I will say preemptively, congratulations on your three-peat, Chiefs. Because this is the worst season of football you guys have played since Mahomes has been on your team, and you're 15-1. So
when would have been the last three-peat? Did
never.
the Patriots get a three-peat?
Nope.
Never.
No.
90s Cowboys didn't get a three-peat.
I don't believe so, no.
The Steelers,
There's
the
always like
Bradshaw
one
Steelers
in between.
didn't get a three-peat.
There's always like one in between. To my knowledge, there hasn't been one. And if there has, the Steelers
Bills,
will be the
of course,
last one.
classically went to 3 Super Bowls in a row.
Yes. They and lost them all.
Right.
All right. Let me double check here.
Okay.
While you
Well, that's pretty interesting, man.
No
I think,
NFL has three-peated in the Super Bowl era. The Packers, they won the NFL championship 3 times, but not Super Bowl. And they won the NFL championship in 65, and then the first 2 Super Bowls.
Okay.
So they could have. That's technically an NFL three-peat, but not really, because it's not 3 Super Bowls.
Right.
But that's the closest we got.
Interesting. Very interesting.
So congratulations on being the first NFL three-peat,
I feel like
Chiefs.
from all of that, the most interesting thing from a casual sports fan's point of view for me, just looking at the entire NFL, is that one game in week 18 between the Lions and the Vikings, and the fact that either the Lions or the Vikings are going to be the NFC number 1 seed. I feel is very interesting from a casual NFL fan.
If the Lions finally if the Lions go from being the Lions to the number 1 seed at the NFC, crazy. I agree.
All right. Let's move on to topic number 2. I've put together a little bit of an MLB free agency tracker. We've had quite a bit of things going on so far this offseason, and I wanted to hit a few of them. Of course, I think we already talked about it here. The Juan Soto humongous mega deal to the New York Mets for $765 million for 15 years. We also had Blake Snell signing with the Dodgers for 5 years at $162 million. Dodgers also brought back their World Series hero Teoscar Hernandez at 3 years, $66 million.
I remember rooting
Willie
for him
Adames, a great shortstop, former Brewer, is now going to be a San Francisco Giant at 7 years, $182 million. Max Fried for the New York Yankees at $218 million over 8 years. And Corbin Burns just signed the other day to the Arizona Diamondbacks for $210 million over 6 years. My notes on these free agents, although it is crazy to say this when we're talking about 9-digit numbers and more. But these pitchers are value contracts in this day and age from the way I'm looking. And every team in the league should have been involved with these pitchers. And if you're a fan base who is looking for a top of the line starter for their team, and they have money to spend, and they were not rumored to be involved with any of the pitchers that I just listed, Corbin Burns, Max Fried, Blake Snell, then you should be upset with your team, because these will end up being value contracts. The fact that Corbin Burns signed for 6 years, $210 million with an opt-out after year 2 is incredibly valuable. Either he pitches really well for you and you have to pay him for 2 years and he leaves, and he pitched really well for you for 2 years at a pretty decent value for one of the greatest pitchers in the league. Or he sticks around for 6 years and it's not that long of a contract when people are getting handed out 10-year deals all the time. A 6-year deal is nothing if he gets hurt, and the value is that is the gamble of
Yeah,
sports
yeah. What's his name?
and
Juan
professional
Soto got
athletes.
15 years.
It
His.
is, although like Juan Soto's contract is humongous, but these pitchers should have gotten larger deals and more teams should have been involved with them to put that number up more.
Yeah, I was
It
going
very
to.
much upsets me that the St. Louis Cardinals, who could very much need pitching, and don't have a whole lot of money in the books in the grand scheme of teams in the league, were not involved in any of these talks. Very much upsetting to me as a fan.
That was what I was gonna comment on. I'm like, as I saw like the notes and stuff getting ready for this, I'm like, why are the Cardinals not in any of these free agent talks? Ah!
Well, there is still time in the off season, Omari, and there are a few names still on the market that I wanted to hit on. The number one free agent still on the market has to be former New York Met first baseman Pete Alonso. Pete Alonso hit over 50 home runs his rookie season.
I know the name.
He can be a little bit of a strikeout issue, although he has had moments in his career where he has worked on that and repaired it. He still has moments where he could strike out, but the man is a power machine and a decent defensive spot at first base. Um, Absolutely top free agent currently on the pool. Third baseman, formerly of the Houston Astros, Alex Bregman. Most people expected him to be invited back to Houston. It doesn't look like that's going to happen. A great at bat, questionable defense as he's getting a little bit older in his age at the hot corner at third base, but one of the more clutch baseball hitters in the league right now if you just look at his history of things. One of the better pitchers left on the market is former Cardinal and then former Dodger, most recently Jack Flaherty, right-handed starting pitcher. Flaherty bounced back in 2024 after a lull at the end of his Cardinals career and the start of his Detroit Tigers career. Was traded to the Dodgers and had a rise to the point where he ended up starting game one of the World Series. So Jack Flaherty still out there on the market for somebody to pick up. Jeff Hoffman, pitcher for the formerly of the Philadelphia Phillies, received a All-Star nod just recently in 2024. Great pitcher there, and then you start to get into some more depth pieces, infield depth, outfield depth. Not necessarily someone you're going to be acquiring as a starter and your team be excited about. So we still have a couple of moves to make, but boy, it's been quiet by a lot of the league. I am glad that the Diamondbacks are the name there for Corbin Burns because it was looking like for a second it was just going to be all the big brothers of the league. Um,
Yankees, Dodgers, and like.
yeah, I mean, even I'd put the Giants just in a tier just below of them, just as far as um, iconic brands of baseball. So we'll see.
I remember
I,
rooting for Teoscar in the um home run derby because I
Yeah.
was like, that's a name, Teoscar Hernandez.
Teoscar Hernandez is a really fun player, and I'm glad he's back with the Los Angeles Dodgers. He made it pretty vocal that he had no desire to go anywhere else. And why would you if you're
You just won the
you're-
series and you got Blake Snell and Blake Snell joining you to your already broken team. So yeah.
Alrighty, Omari. Topic number 3. AEW World's End is tonight. It is going to be the closeout of wrestling in 2024. And we want to roll through this match card real quick. We're only going to hit a few of the matches because we know that there's more that have been added since this card that I added on here on our sheet, and then there will probably be more added. I mean, let's be real, it's 11 a.m. Central Time on Saturday. We're probably going to get 3 more matches added to at least the pre-show. Um,
Yeah.
let's start here. We've got our semi-finals first
Mm-hmm.
in the Continental Classic Tournament. On one side of things, you have Will Ospreay versus Kyle Fletcher. Kyle Fletcher beat Will Ospreay pretty recently at a pay-per-view.
Okay.
Um, and then on the other side of the coin, you have Ricochet going against current Continental Classic holder Kazuchika Okada. Winners of both of these matches will go on to the final later in the night.
Okay, I would say that will also happen tonight.
I
Okay.
believe so.
All right. I feel like Ospreay Okada would probably be the best match out of these. That said, people also really like. I know you're not a big fan of the counter style, but that is something that people love about Ricochet versus Ospreay. Folks who love your counter shit love them some Ricochet versus Ospreay, and AEW crowd loves them some counter shit. So I could see that happening because Ricochet is trying to getting a push. And he's also pushing back against the people that don't like that he's getting some kind of push on TV, on Twitter and stuff. But I think at finals is going to be Ospreay Ricochet, and I think Ospreay takes it because he's Ospreay, and he's done enough favors this year, if you will, to others.
Yeah, I would think it's Osprey. I think the only thing leading me I mean, there's a lot of interesting possible matches here in these 4 people.
And sorry, folks, I don't know Fletcher enough. I'm too casual when it comes to AEW to know Fletcher.
I mean, they're certainly building Fletcher. This would be a humongous build. I mean, he has already beat Will Ospreay. But yeah, this would be a humongous build if he ended up winning this whole thing. I think AEW has been declaring recently Kazuchika Okada as the greatest tournament wrestler ever. And I believe that's because he has 2 G2 wins. But several people have 2 G2 wins, I believe, in the history of New Japan. Or G1s, sorry. So I think I think there's a theory that statement, the best tournament wrestler alive, is going to be proven by Okada winning this tournament. I think but there's a lot of possibilities here. You have 2 big heels it looks like that they're trying to build. Kyle Fletcher, who's an obvious giant heel currently in the company, and then I think you have Ricochet, who they are currently building to be the smarmy chicken S-word heel of the company. So a lot of possibilities here. I'm going to put my money on Okada.
Okay. I got Ospreay, you got Okada.
AEW International Championship is on the line tonight. Omari for Konosuke Takeshita versus Powerhouse Will Hobbs.
Powerhouse. Do they ever let Powerhouse win titles?
Shout out to a friend of the channel, Big Bro Ibn, who called that Powerhouse will have a big 2025. I don't know if it's a win over Takeshita.
Yeah, they love them some Takeshita. I like Powerhouse Hobbs because I like the simple characters to begin with, and I also like the big powerful dudes. So like this he looks like a power. You know what? Fuck it. Takeshita might win this, but I'm going Powerhouse. Let's get that. Let's start that 25 off correctly. Ow.
All right, and in a returning gimmick that I wish would maybe be the end of it. Here is the Dynamite Diamond Ring finale. It will be tonight. MJF versus Adam Cole for the Diamond Ring. I would love for Adam Cole to win this, and then let's say that this never is a thing again. But
it's the MJF match. It's the MJF match. Yeah, I got MJF. I can't, especially after like the second or even the third one, you know, fool me once and all that. Yeah, it's like, will Roman Reigns lose at Fastlane? No. MJF's not losing at the Diamond, because that's his whole thing. He cheats with the Dynamite ring. It's like what's his name? Regal with the brass knucks. It's the Diamond Ring that he keeps winning so he can keep being the asshole he is. So yeah. I got Maxwell, and he's getting revenge against Adam Cole, baby, if I remember correct, because of their whole history. So yeah.
Yeah, just like the Ring, this feud needs to die, and they need to go to their own directions.
Yeah.
I'm gonna vote Adam Cole, but it's purely heart over mind. TBS Championship, we're running it back. It is Mercedes Moné versus Chris Statlander, number 2. Obviously Mercedes won this first one. Do we think that Chris Statlander wins the second one?
I'm trying to remember who they gave. I think they gave Jade Cargill's Shriek to Statlander. So she's a contender. That said, I think they like the money that Monet brings in as the champion. So I think Mercedes takes it again. Unless they want to extend this to like a rubber match, but I got Mercedes.
It's interesting at this point in the date. I don't know if we have done Mina Shirakawa versus Mercedes Moné, but they are doing a belt for belt for the New Japan Strong, and Mina has I believe the Progress Women's Championship. And so it's been a few years since we've had a belt collector gimmick in a major brand, and I don't know if we've ever had.
Kenny had one.
Right, Kenny had one in what, 2019, late 2019, early 2020,
21, 22-ish. Yeah.
Oh, okay. But I don't know. I could see them. I could see Monet
going down
Mercedes
that path.
Monet being the first woman's belt collector.
Yeah.
I could very much see that in her styling and motif that she has as a character. So I would vote Mercedes to win this one again, but I don't know if you want to give Chris Statlander a second loss here. So interesting to see. Tijuana street fight between Thunder Rosa and Mariah May. Mariah May is going to win this one. I don't know if anybody's going to take that belt off her until some version of Toni Storm does it. But I would love for Thunder Rosa to win this, and I think it's been semi vocal before. I'm not the biggest Mariah May stan. I'd much rather this belt be on Thunder Rosa.
It's called the Tijuana Street Fight, and just solely on that, I got to go with my own little personal rules, and I'm gonna say Thunder Rosa.
So, whenever they go full ethnicity.
Yeah.
Like if she walks off with a headdress.
Yeah, I've seen her do it. She's been one of those that did it. She's part of the people that make me establish that rule, because she did that when she first won her title. I'm like, oh, her opponent's losing tonight because she just came out Thunder Rosa. She had the fucking headdress on, the fire flames. It's like, well, Yeah, so especially if she come out like that, with it being called the Tijuana one, you might as well go full on. I'm a root for Thunder Rosa in this. I also don't give a damn about Mariah May. Thunder Rosa.
All right. The AEW World Championship is in a fatal four-way. You have the defending champion, Death Rider Jon Moxley, versus Hangman Page, versus Orange Cassidy, versus Jay White. Omari, is this actually going to change the belt here, or is this just a way to get three of your contenders out of Jon Moxley's way quicker?
Probably the latter. Especially because this is Death Riders, We Murder People, Jon Moxley faction thing in a no DQ match. But then again, he doesn't give a damn about the belt. That's his whole thing. And I think he's got the most reigns out of anybody right now in AEW, with like 4 or 5 at this point. So I could see him losing it because he's too busy focusing on killing other people while Orange Cassidy lazily rolls over on Jay Slingblade. But that said,
would be interesting.
That said, Moxley is who I got.
Yeah, I'm gonna vote Moxley as well. But I love the finish that you just drafted. That is a great way for the Orange Cassidy character to like, yeah, Moxley and the Death Riders murder everyone, and then they start murdering somebody outside of the ring.
Like,
and Cassidy, previously murdered, like the first one murdered, has now taken his health pack and just like crawls over and lays on Jay White, who was the most recent one murdered.
Yeah. and I see Moxley and Adam Page, baby, just attacking each other, because Adam Page is a house burner himself. He is a deathmatch extraordinaire guy himself as far as AEW is concerned. You fight him in a Texas death match, you probably losing to that guy. That said, I see those two butting heads because they've also, I think, fought for the title before as well. So they're the two heavy favorites, which is why it's perfect for that other finish to happen. That said, they're on this Death Riders gimmick. He's changing AEW, and he's going to start by killing 3 of the biggest names there.
Yep. Yeah, I think so. All right. Well, that covers us on AEW World's End, happening tonight on wherever you get your pay-per-views. I know Big Bro Ibn suggests Triller. I usually end up picking YouTube for its convenience.
Okay.
But I know you don't get to keep it afterwards, and in Triller you get to.
But you can get it on YouTube.
Yes, you can get it on YouTube. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Cool. I've been wondering how to get these things, aside from like Bleacher Report or whatever. But YouTube's another one. Cool.
Yep. Alrighty. Well, that does it for us on You Don't Watch Sports on this Saturday. You can check us out on a lot of different things. We have a media show on Tuesdays called This Guy Hasn't Seen, where we share things back and forth. One guy has seen, the other one hasn't. It's kind of like a movie club, book club kind of thing. It's really fun. Should come by and check that out. On Mondays, we do a wrestling show or a draft show, whatever you'd like to call it. Recently did our best wrestlers of 2024. You should go check that one out. That was one of the most fun videos I think Fair Grande's done. Omari, we got Whatever We Want coming back on Wednesdays.
Yeah, whatever we want coming back soon to a TV near you.
Whatever we want, whenever we want.
Whenever we want. That's right. With a good friend of the show, Super Jazz, who's
Super Jazz.
Thank you very much. As nature intended, he's also on that Best Wrestlers of 2014. A lot of hot takes that he has on that one. Yeah, but we talk about just that. Whatever we want. I also have a Twitter and Twitch at Giotavi. It's GIOTAVI. Come on in. Stop on by. Yep, I'm streaming Earth Day 240. You know what that means.
All right. Thank you for joining us. Have a good sports week.
Adios, miss.